Life on the Farm. Written by Impressive On 2563. I've owned and operated a small pig farm my entire adult life. My father owned this pig farm before me, and his father before him. It's not glamorous work, but it's honest. Pig farming isn't as simple as you would think either. You have to keep up with the latest in disease prevention, keep a good track of the pigs' bloodlines. My farm consists of a few hundred acres of fenced-off woodlands. Plenty of streams and ponds for the pigs to keep cool during the hot months, and shelters for the cold months. I don't like modern hog sheds where they live on the concrete their whole lives. My pigs are big, happy creatures. After a few years back, my neighbors started selling off their farms to big corporate pig farming operations. They made me a nice offer too, but I wasn't interested in selling. That was that. They had their farms. I had mine. I built a number of huge hog sheds for mass production all around the county. A few miles down the road, the corporation built what I assumed was their big office building. The office was rather large, nice-looking building, 2 stories tall, about the size of a football field. For the first few years, everything was fine, no troubles from them. Then a few odd occurrences started happening. I first became suspicious that something was wrong when I went out to feed the hogs their corn one spring morning. I was filling one of the troughs to the usual happy reception when I noticed a sow in that section that wasn't one of mine. See, all my swine were dark-colored and woolly. This one was of the pink variety. It wasn't at all unusual, as once in a while a neighbor's pig would find a way through the fences and get in with mine. I'd just check the tags and get it back to where it belongs. But no. The problem was that this pig had a very human-like arm growing off the side of its right front shoulder. Not a grown man's arm, but an older child-sized arm. It wasn't just hanging there either. The pig was using that arm to scoop corn out of the trough and bring it to its mouth. It worked like that arm was good. That was no vestigial limb. After staring at it in shock for a spell, I went for a rope that led to one out there. Thank goodness it was a sow, because I sure as hell didn't want that thing mixing with my stock. I'd never seen anything like that before. Took that thing out behind the shed and shot it dead. I burnt the remains to the ashes, and I didn't tell nobody. Thinking like that could damage my farm's reputation. So I went around the entire property and reinforced all my fence lines real good. No more to that business. Or so I thought. Might have been a year, or better, passed with no further incident. Then one evening, I was taking out account when I heard some feller calling for help down by the stream. I hurried down there and I'd seen something I wish I hadn't. There stood a man, waist deep in the stream, just calling out for help. This guy wasn't from around these parts, though. He was naked for one thing, and had a boar's head growing out of the middle of his chest. As soon as he laid eyes on me, that man's head went all limp, and the boar head seemed to wake up and started cackling. That laughing noise will haunt me for all my days. I ran as fast as I could to get back to the house. That thing giving chase the whole way, just making that awful croaking laugh and throwing rocks at me. I got back to the house and I bolted the door fast. With shaking hands, I called the sheriff. I didn't say what was really out there, but I just said that some naked lunatic is on my property, and if they didn't get here fast, I was going to shoot him myself. Things got real quiet there for a bit. Then I heard this big thump noise coming from the living room. I grabbed up my 12 gauge and I crept around the corner. At first I didn't see nothing, but then another thump, It came from the fireplace. This thing was up on my roof, tearing bricks off of the chimney and throwing them down into the fireplace. It had stopped the laughing and had begun carrying on for help again, just yelling for help down the chimney and throwing bricks. I went over and I stuck the 12 gauge up in the chimney and I fired a round straight up. I heard it scrabbling around up there. Then I heard it jump to the ground and run off. Once the sheriff got there, a good 2 hours later, I described everything that happened, sans the part about the pig's head growing out of the feller's chest. Sheriff said it's probably some of them kids that have been smoking that wacky tobacco again. He just said to just call back if he comes back. I thanked him for his time and he went on his way. The next day, there was some blonde lady at my door asking what exactly I had seen. I told her like I told the sheriff. She seemed to be doubtful on any of my account and asked what I really seen. So I told her the truth of it. Strangely, she didn't seem too fazed by my story and wanted me to sign some papers swearing that I never told anybody about what happened. She wrote me a check that could have bought this whole damn farm twice over too. She gave me her card to call that number if anything else happens. So now, I've branched out from farming. I now raise pigs, and I don't see things. That was Life on the Farm. Written by Impressive Arm 2563.